Welcome everybody. Division 1 modern action now between Will McCarty, who's the recorder at the bottom of the screen, up against Tony Wacholz at the top of the screen. Our first time seeing Tony on camera this season. Just give me 1 second. I have to shut down I've got Arena running in the background by accident. This was recorded and edited to some degree by Will. You can see both of these players are valued Patreon contributors, both Tony and Will. And there's interesting kind of battle going on here. So Will is the defending modern format champion. He won modern last season, his first format title. Tony's the defending legacy champion, and I'm going to feature their legacy match. So we're going to see the two battle it out probably later on today. Tony also won Division 1 last season to qualify for the finals. Obviously didn't go on. And this is Will's first season in Division 1. Looks like Will, who's recorded, is going to be on Grixis, some sort of Grixis build. Tony at the top. Once he cracks that polluted delta, we'll know what he's playing. Yeah, I'm curious to see more of these Grixis builds, because I'm tempted to play Grixis at an event coming up. It seems to be, to me, it seems to be pretty well positioned at the moment. At this stage of the match, obviously Tony doesn't know. Okay, so it's a Grixis mirror. Just see what sort of Grixis that they're on, because you can see Will's got Opt, which I don't believe is played in the Death Shadow. And certainly Burst Lightning, not played in the Death Shadow lists. At this stage, though, you can see Tony, he does not know what Will is on, and particularly because Will's played Opt here, it would be reasonable to assume that he's on the Phoenix deck. Street Wraith cycled, obviously gives it away what Tony's on. He's on the Death Shadow list. So here comes a Thoughtseize. That's going to be remanded. That's not the best play, I think, against the Death Shadow deck, because you're kind of giving them 2 life for free. Actually, no, does it only if it resolves it takes the 2 life, does it? So he cycled the Remand into a Snapcaster, so we'll see what Tony's going to take here. I'd be inclined to almost take that Snapcaster. The only thing probably stopping you from taking the Snapcaster at this stage is that there's not really any juicy targets. Well, he does take it. I think that's a reasonable choice. And he certainly knows about the Cryptic, so he can play around that now. The other thing here I was going to say is that he does not know that Will is not on the Phoenix deck, and because he's only seen red and blue cards. Polluted Delta kind of gives it away, because the Phoenix deck doesn't play polluted deltas. But having said that, he has only fetched blue and red sources. Not really sure what the delay is here. We're waiting for Tony to make a decision. I think he knows about the Cryptic command. And he's going to go for the Death Shadow. So he's playing into a Cryptic. This is going to be a 4/4. So Will can actually take this down with the Burst Lightning and the Lightning Bolt. I think he doesn't have any better targets for it, so I don't mind reminding that just to cycle. Meets with a Stubborn Denial, which is not too bad, because Stubborn Denial would have countered a future spell when the Death Shadow is resolved. I'm inclined to Burst Lightning, Lightning Bolt this thing right now while he's tapped out. He doesn't do it though, because Burst Lightning has no decent targets in this deck. Lightning Bolt, also because Tony knows about it. Lightning Bolt can be good in certain circumstances. You can see he can't do that play now because of the Bloodstained Mire. I was going to say Lightning Bolt can be good in certain circumstances against this deck, because if they're not careful, you can sort of get them, they'll go down to 4, and then you can bolt them and kill them in response. But once he knows about the Burst Lightning and the Lightning Bolt, he's not going to do that. And I think it's going to be very difficult to get this Death Shadow off the board. And it's going to be even more difficult to get that thing off the board. Gurmag Angler is a 5/5, so he could use the 2 spells here if he wished. But this is going to be lethal on board next turn. So I think we're going to see the Burst Lightning and the Lightning Bolt fired off here. If there's a Stubborn Denial here, it's just game over. Wait, what happened? Oh, okay, so actually he's gonna pinch this one. He can mission briefing back the Lightning Bolt and then Burst Lightning to finish. I'm pretty sure Burst Lightning can go at the face. I wonder if he's just playing around Stubborn Denial. He can't really he can't play around Stubborn Denial there. He just let him draw an extra card. The other option here is Cryptic Command. Yeah, there's a Stubborn Denial. So that can't be blocked. He's going to concede and we're going to go to game 2. Yeah, there's no way to play around that Stubborn Denial because he kept it open. And of course Tony was operating with perfect knowledge. So here's the young Pyromancer. So again, we're not... I'm starting to think he's Will's just on straight up blue-red. Yeah, Tony's just, there's some sort of X-Mage error there, so he skipped his play step. So they're just rolling back. Tony forgot to play a land. Of course, I reiterate this sort of thing every time it happens. That's perfectly acceptable and almost encouraged under our rules for the league, because you kind of put it in a scenario of if it was a real paper match. If it was a real paper match, nobody's going to sit there and go, oops, I forgot to play a land, can I play my first land? Clearly he's clicked something wrong in X-Mage, whereas I was going to say, whereas if he played the wrong land and said I want to take that back and play a different one, it's different. But actually I don't think it is these days, because they've changed the rules now to allow you to do that, providing no game state has changed in the meantime. Now, if this Peasy can go unchecked, the thing it's going to be going to produce a lot of very good blockers, and I don't know if there's a team of Battle Rage on the other side for Tony. You can see he's not playing the Pyromancer here. He's pretty safe, because if there's a Thoughtseize here, there's only one black source. He can just remand it and then play the Pyromancer next turn. Doesn't look like there is a Thoughtseize unless he's going to Serum Visions into it. The other thing is, I don't think, like, Will didn't really do anything in game 1. Fired off a few remands and a Cryptic Command. I would have kept that opt for the next turn just to trigger the Pyromancer, because now he's going to have a Pyromancer with nothing to do. He didn't actually do anything in the previous game, so Tony doesn't even know what he's up against. Because this is looking very much like it's just straight up blue-red, is it? And if that's the case, and you can see Tony, he's fetched basics, an island and a swamp, so I think he suspects that's the case as well, because he's playing around Blood Moon. And I think that this deck only plays 2 basics. Pretty ominous here. He's gone for the Stubborn Denial, holding up that Scalding Tarn. He could have cracked the Tarn to use it to play for the Angler, but he's Will called his bluff and he didn't actually have it. Now there's a Jace on board and all sorts of problems for the Tony Wacholz. Super risky zeroing Jace right there. I'd put that Blood Moon on the top of the deck. I wouldn't keep it in my hand. You want to draw it next turn, because he's going to be forced to do something about this Jace quick smart. If he's got a Lightning Bolt, he can just take down the Jace. That's why against red decks I always think it's best to plus the Jace first. And here's the Thoughtseize is going to take that Blood Moon. Oh, he's having a bit of a think about this actually. He's got 2... I think if he takes a Pyromancer, it sort of is a signal that he's sighted out a lot of his creature removal, which would have him thinking that Will is on the Izzet Phoenix deck, and of course he would be trying to race the Phoenix deck. He's taken the cryptic command, so he wants to resolve something. You can see he's got his black and his blue source, and he can also crack these two fetches, so he probably doesn't care too much about Blood Moon now. But you look at what he's cracking here. Those are his two basics that are left. Bolt down Jace. And Death Shadow a 2/2. Or he can't actually pump that Death Shadow, so it could have died right there to a lightning bolt. Unfortunately, no lightning bolt for Will. He can protect this PZ with Remand, but I think I would have liked to have seen this come down 2 or 3 turns ago and played with the opt. This is going to get a Remand. So there's the blocker for the Death Shadow. He's going to do this all day. See if he fires it back. Blood Moon here is actually going to be not too bad, because it's going to restrict, particularly when you got counter spells, it's going to restrict Tony to force to 1 spell a turn. In the colours, you can see if the Blood Moon was down, he wouldn't be able to play that Thoughtseize. But if he can find a cantrip here, he's taken Jace with the Thoughtseize. If he can find a cantrip here and play the second PZ like with the Serum Visions or something like that, I think Will's in pretty good shape. Regardless, I'd be jamming that Blood Moon next turn, just to cause a bit of a choke point. He still has 18 life, so I don't think he's going to get blown out from nowhere right here. Tony just think. What's he going to do? Just skip forward a little bit. Okay, he's swinging in the Death Shadow. That's a pretty easy chump block right there. Here comes Gurmag Angler. And again, this would be shut down with the Blood Moon, but just a turn short. And perfect. He picks up the Serum Visions. That's exactly what he was after. Gurmag Angler doesn't have... You just want a cantrip here, and he's got one. I'd keep both those. Oh, it depends what he... Yep. I'd keep both. You can bounce. Oh, he could have used Mission Briefing to bounce with Cryptic. And suddenly he's got a pretty good defense, unless Anger of the Gods was brought in, but there's no double red, so that's okay. Yeah, I would have kept that Mission Briefing so I could bounce that Cryptic command. So 1 PZ goes down. I wonder if he would be tempted here to see what he does on the crackback. He's just going to let the Gurmag Angler go through. Oh, he does have the Team of Battle Rage, so it did come in from the sideboard. That's going to do a ton of damage. It's almost going to be lethal. 2 points short. So he needs something pretty big here. He's gone for Snappy now. I think I would have kept that to snap back the Cryptic and tap down the team next turn. Actually, if he did that, he had the game. The game was over if he did it. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got lethal here, so we'll see if that last card for Tony is anything special. Yeah, I think he had to snap back the Cryptic, and he would have won, because if there's anything here... Okay, they've rolled back because Tony says he's got effects before blockers, and now there's a bug. So it's rolled back again, so that they're still rolling back. The issue here, what causes this, is that when they request the rollback, somebody would have had F5 or F9 switched on, which bugs it. So they're still trying to resolve this. Yeah, he's just asking him what card do you have in hand. I don't know, let me just see if you can see this in the chat. No, you can't. I'll just see if I can move that over. And that is the match. So yeah, he had Snapcaster in hand.